Hey folks, it's time to talk about the Comey firing. I actually filmed the video earlier. It was taken down due to copyright. We'll see how this one fares. I'm using an archive link for a CNN story, which is not the one I wanted to use. I wanted to use the one from USA Today. But fuck it. What are we going to do? We have this issue today where James Comey finally fired by President Trump, and not a moment too soon. In fact, Comey should have been fired by President Obama. He's pretty much shown throughout the past year that he has no clue how a federal agency is supposed to behave in public. Or the head of a federal agency. His ridiculous press conference last July was already the last straw for me, and that was the first time I ever saw him. Look, you don't have to go every fucking time and act as if the FBI is the real safeguarder of American justice, because throughout its history, it's kind of been like a joke. On the one hand, they prosecute mobsters, Italian-American organized crime groups, which, I guess that's to be expected. On the other hand, there have been credible revelations that an FBI agent collaborated with the Irish mob in Boston, for example. So, I guess he has to do what he has to do to defend the agency's or the bureau's reputation, but it's been a complete failure as far as I'm concerned, and it has only a couple things to do with this current scandal with the Russia investigation. There's a number of problems. First of all, yes, he's been so flat-footed with regards to investigations on both fronts. On the Clinton front with the email scandal, which he clearly he concocted one of the most bizarre statements when he said, after laying out a case against Hillary Clinton that sounded too good to be true, he said that nobody would prosecute for it. The complete idiocy. There's almost, I mean, the people who supported his viewpoint at the time, I think they should have been wise enough to see that this is a person that can pretty much weave a honeycomb full of bullshit. A honeycomb out of bullshit, sorry. Just so he can make whatever story he wants seem plausible. And that's been James Comey since he's been on the public scene. And it's been with regard to the Trump investigation. He claimed that there's no evidence that Donald Trump has been spied on. That's complete bullshit, because we're now seeing that, first of all, I think to some extent he's playing dumb every time. He's using legalese and weasel words in order to get out of actually revealing anything close to the truth. It has nothing to do with it being classified or not classified, because clearly the FBI has no clue how to keep control over over the classified information of the federal government. They've been a joke since he's become FBI director, and that brings me to the next real problem, which is that leaks have been a huge problem since he became director throughout the federal government, and we're seeing that. I don't know. Maybe it's not only because of James Comey. Maybe it's also because of the Justice Department under Obama. He had two attorney generals that he worked under, Eric Holder and Loretta Lynch, that have no notable accomplishments as attorney general. In fact, they have to be, sadly, the biggest couple of scrubs that have ever occupied that position. And Bush's appointees weren't that much better. Although his last one, McCasey, was a pretty solid attorney general. We haven't had a normal attorney general since George H.W. Bush, probably. We've had Janet Reno, who was a walking joke, didn't know how to manage Waco, a federal standoff with a religious cult. She screwed that up. What else was there? There was Ruby Ridge. There was Elian Gonzalez. She was a train wreck as Attorney General. And let's not forget that she was basically running interference for possibly the most dishonest president we've ever had, Bill Clinton, okay? And I think that's one of the reasons that Bill Clinton picked her, because she was willing to look the other way at all these indiscretions. And you could say what you want about Donald Trump being that type of person, what I just called Bill Clinton, just the most dishonest president. But let's be realistic. Nobody's committed suicide like Vince Foster did since Donald Trump became president. I'm not going to read through this too much. It says Senator Tim Kaine, Robby Mook, and Brian Fallon all expressed skepticism at why Comey was fired now in the midst of the Bureau's investigation into Russia's involvement in the 2016 election. Trump firing Comey shows how frightened the administration is over the Russia investigation. Comey firing part of a growing pattern by the White House to cover up the truth. Really, I mean, he's one to talk about covering up the truth. He was the running mate for a person who basically wiped her hard drive clean with a software that's meant to conceal email messages from even the toughest forensic IT people. And then Robby Mook, as usual, has said something completely irrelevant. He says, I was as frustrated, concerned, and disappointed as anyone with Director Comey's handling of the email investigation, but President Trump just fired the man investigating how Russia meddled in our election and whether members of his campaign were involved in an investigation President Trump called charade only 24 hours ago, Mook said in a statement. It's equally concerning that our Attorney General, who lied about his own meetings with the Russians, approved Director Comey's firing. This is the statement of an idiot. Robby Mook will never work again in politics unless, for some reason the Clintons want to, repeat their idiotic 2016 run. This is a person who entrusted the job of his life to a computer algorithm that ignored everybody else's feelings and the way that they were reacting to is basically saying, let's just model everything on 2012. Forget actually improvising. We're just going to play it by the book. That was Robby Mook, and he's blaming his own failure. For his career to ever rebound, he has to make it seem like the campaign that he ran lost because of a factor that was completely out of his control, which was Russia. And I don't think anybody believes that. I don't think his quotation is actually going to swing anybody. This is a person who lost all credibility during the campaign. He was a smiling idiot. I saw him on TV. They would ask him, just general questions. And this was on MSNBC, Morning Joe. They would ask him like general questions about Hillary Clinton's policy in Syria, and he had no clue. He was just saying that they should review her policy and ask her and whatever. You're supposed to represent the campaign. So if you don't know the position, then why are you on TV? And that's exactly what Joe Scarborough said in one of the few honest moments of the Hillary Clinton campaign coverage by MSNBC. Cheers. Comey's fired. What else do you got? It says, instead, Clinton aides believe Comey was fired because of his ongoing investigation into Russia's involvement in the 2016 election. Trump on Tuesday fired Comey after his Attorney General and Deputy Attorney General recommended his removal. In a letter to Comey, Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein said the FBI director was fired in part for his handling of the Clinton email investigation. But Clinton aides said they find that hard to believe. Much of what Comey is cited for doing wrong happened before Trump heralded Comey during a January event at the White House, warmly shaking his hand and commenting on how famous he had become. See, that's how ridiculous these people are spinning it. They themselves, the Clinton campaign, I mean, they were spending the whole election basically pretending that Clinton was a friend of Barack Obama, when everybody knows that they hate each other. It's not even a secret. Everything was choreographed to make it look like they were buddies. They've never ever gotten along. Neither of the Clintons have gotten along with Obama, not Bill or Hillary. In fact, it's pretty famous that Barack Obama and Bill Clinton hate each other for kind of different reasons. Obama thinks that Clinton is condescending towards him, and Clinton thinks that Obama is an ungrateful piece of crap. It's not even a secret. Bill Clinton called Obamacare the craziest thing in the world, and Michelle Obama said that if Hillary Clinton can't run her own house, she can't run the White House. So those are things that you don't just say them and take them back. Those are things that there has to be a root to that statement in your mind and your heart, or whatever you want to call it. They're so disingenuous, it's almost impossible to take them seriously anymore. Geez, I really should have used the USA Today story. So I'll link the USA Today story. It's by a former official in the Bush Defense Department. Let me see if I can just find it real quick. Okay, this is called James Comey Firing Was Inevitable by James Robbins. Is anyone surprised that President Trump fired FBI Director James Comey? Well, yes. Some are surprised he did it, and others are surprised it took this so long. How the mighty have fallen. In March, Comey was hailed as the most powerful person in Washington, but those who are tagged most powerful have a funny way of quickly being shown up, particularly when they serve at the pleasure of the president. So it says, then 2 days before Election Day, Comey said, never mind, the FBI had hastily reviewed the 49,000 potentially relevant emails it had found on a laptop owned by disgraced former Congressman Anthony Weiner, and nothing there changed its conclusions from the previous July when he had called out Clinton for lying but did not recommend prosecution. Whether this roller coaster ride had an impact on the election is one question, but Comey's seemingly erratic behavior so close to an election was quite another. I was at a meeting with some senior members of the law enforcement community when Comey backed off the investigation, and they expressed utter bewilderment at what he was doing. It went beyond how this would affect Comey's career or his reputation. He was potentially tarnishing the Bureau itself, and for all this, Comey said he had no regrets. So again, I'm not going to read through this all. It's a simple, nice summary. I don't think it goes in depth enough, and in fact, it doesn't go far enough. James Comey is a disgrace, not just for his conduct during the Clinton email scandal or under the current bizarre Trump-Russia investigation. So I think there's, like the article says, this article says, the other article says as well, there are ample reasons why people both on the left and the right can't stand this guy, but the real problem has nothing to do with either of those. It's that in an era when cyber warfare has been kind of the equalizer in many conflicts, Comey's FBI has let the worst enemies of the U.S. just come in and plunder our files and get to know our deepest secrets. It happened with WikiLeaks, which is a civilian agency or a civilian source. They claim that they're journalists. Other people claim that they're just a hacker group and criminals and whatever. I happen to think that WikiLeaks I was thinking about it today. If you don't get the documents released through WikiLeaks, there's other organizations that will end up doing it. And in fact, some of them do it legally, maybe not as effectively as WikiLeaks, definitely not as effectively, but Judicial Watch, for example, they're always filing federal Freedom of Information Act briefs, and they're always getting emails. They're always getting this stuff that the government is hiding from us. So there's a legal way to do what WikiLeaks wants to do. The problem is that the FBI is piss poor at enforcing the regulations that prevent them from doing it illegally. Okay, so without the FBI's weakness, not WikiLeaks, not China, not Russia, not Israel, not Iran, none of those countries would have been able, or countries or organizations in WikiLeaks' case, none of those entities would have been able to hack into the federal government at any time. I think I'm not being facetious here, but all of those countries, for different reasons, have all tried to hack or have hacked the U.S. defense establishment's computer databases, and not just the defense establishment. In fact, like civil servants, as in public employees, they've hacked them before numerous times. It's pathetic. And the FBI has done literally nothing. Neither has the NSA. You see Comey every time he comes out to testify, and I saw him last time. I think it was in early April. He came to testify, and he was there with that dickhead of an NSA director. I think his name is Admiral Mike Rogers, and these two acted like nobody needs to know what they're doing, and everything's up to them, and they have the keys, and we're just the passengers. They deserve to be fired. Yeah, I think the head of the NSA deserves to be fired too. The whole thing needs to be reformed from the ground up, and maybe even done away with. The NSA, for all of their technological abilities, what do we know of that they've prevented? Okay? So many of these attacks are things that could have been prevented if this ridiculous technological license that they have was being properly enforced. So I think that's it for right now. I'm going to try to do another. It's really late here, and I have to get up early tomorrow. I have a conference at work, but I think it's really a shame that the FBI is now rendered just an appendage of nothing. Not because Comey was fired, but because Comey was hired. They've been virtually the most incompetent agency in law enforcement in years. When you have somebody who you lay out a whole case where she lied under oath and she lied about her emails, she concealed information and deleted information, obstruction of justice, and you don't decide to prosecute, yeah, that means your organization is a failure and you're a failure. And James Comey needed to go. So that's it. This is Ramon with Bold Like a Leopard. And you can, how does it go? Hold on. Let me see if I even have it. Wrong one. It goes, tune in, listen up, and fuck off. Okay, so that's the new Bold Like a Leopard catchphrase. If you like it, you can say it to your friends or whatever. I don't care. I don't own any of this. All this is a fun little hobby for me. And if you don't like it, you can fuck off. That's why I already include it in the catchphrase. So have a great night, and we'll see you later.